Though the Brotherhood once possessed a small fleet of pre-war airships, they have all been destroyed in fighting super mutants or scuttled for parts by the 22nd century. Born at the dusk of the 23rd century, the Prydwen is the first post-war aircraft, a one-of-a-kind airship constructed by the Brotherhood of Steel at Adams Air Force Base, and a manifestation of its rebirth on the East Coast. Initial work began in 2278. 2 years alone were spent designing it by the sharpest minds the Brotherhood had at its disposal. Another 2 years were spent gathering the parts necessary to enable its construction, with components salvaged from the destroyed Enclave base playing a crucial role in its construction. The Prydwen was launched in 2282, granting the Brotherhood the ability to mobilize its entire division and field it anywhere they need to at a moment's notice. In terms of design, the Prydwen is a 40,000-ton rigid-frame airship, with lighter-than-air gas bags safely hidden inside a lightweight armored plating that surrounds the main deck. It was refitted with an updated plant pulled from the wreckage of an aircraft carrier for the Commonwealth campaign. As such, it has been capable of crossing the vast distance dividing the ruins of Washington, D.C. and Boston in record time thanks to the power of its main engines. The Prydwen can land on the ground in emergencies and to conserve coolant needed to keep it afloat. The airship itself is unarmed, but always carries enough troops, vertibirds, and supplies to mount a major offensive. The Brotherhood's airborne aircraft carrier contains all the facilities needed to make long-range operations possible. Barracks, research and development facilities, a medical bay, armory, workshops, and more. During the War of the Commonwealth, the carrier also houses the top leadership of the chapter, apart from Elder Maxim. Lance Captain Kells, the head of the Lancers and Prydwen's skipper, resides at the command deck on the bridge, overseeing field operations. Proctor Teagan, head of the Order of the Sword, acts as the Prydwen's quartermaster. His office is in the supply depot in the rear. The head of the airport security depot, Knight Sergeant Gavel, answers directly to him. Proctor Ingram, head of the Order of the Shield, works in the Power Armor Maintenance Bay. She oversees engineering and maintenance duties both aboard the Prydwen and airport side. It's her job to ensure the reactor remains operational and the ship airborne. She also works towards restoring Liberty Prime, the keystone of Elder Maxim's stratagem against the Institute. Proctor Quinlan, head of the Order of the Quill, oversees scribe research and recovery operations from his quarters on the main deck, opposite the infirmary. Field scribes answer to him, and he's personally checking every technical document brought to him from the field. Apart from the 3 order leaders, the chapter has other prominent members aboard the Prydwen. Knight Captain Cade, one of the Brotherhood's most talented physicians, resides in the medical bay, treating wounded soldiers and assessing new recruits in order to see if they are combat ready. He is notoriously strict and refuses to clear Paladin Brandis for duty until the Soul Survivor completes either the nuclear option for the Brotherhood or completes mass fusion for the Institute while working for the Railroad. Senior Scribe Naraya is the head of the Brotherhood's Biological Research Department and works in her lab on the rear of the upper floor on the main deck. She is responsible for dissecting and analysis of fallen foes in hopes of finding any weaknesses and special traits useful for the Brotherhood. She also works to develop a new anti-radiation medicine more potent than Radix, but she needs more viable blood samples from the Commonwealth's various creatures to create it. The Prydwen is divided into 2 exterior areas and 2 indoor areas: the flight deck, the command deck, the main deck, and the forecastle. The main deck is a medical bay, mess hall, power armor station, crafting equipment, and a shop at the end of the corridor. There are also stairs that lead either up to the living quarters or down to the storage area. Around the perimeter and along the top are patrolled catwalks. The main deck is contained within the airbag, as the hydrogen inside several canisters positioned around the outer hull. The flight deck is located on the midsection of the gondola. There is a control room and storage area overlooking the deck, accessible at the back of the flight deck. The command deck has 3 levels. The top level is Maxon's observation deck. The next one down is the storage area, with access to the forecastle. Finally, the bridge is at the bottom, where Lance Captain Kells can be found. The forecastle is a small balcony that is accessible from the top of the command deck. If you become hostile to the Brotherhood of Steel or participate in the main quests for the Railroad or Institute, you will eventually get a quest to destroy the Prydwen. The Minutemen will have you build at least 5 artillery pieces in 5 different settlements, after which a bombardment will destroy the airship, leading to a final airborne assault on the castle from the remaining Brotherhood of Steel forces. The Institute will task you with taking down an electromagnetic shield that prevents them from teleporting synths into the airport. After that, you will be able to relay synths and proceed to the main objective, reprogramming Liberty Prime to identify the Prydwen as a communist asset. Liberty Prime then uses its eye laser to bring down the airship. The railroad favors subterfuge, giving the sole survivor a Brotherhood of Steel outfit so they can sneak onto the airship and place explosive charges on vulnerable locations in an effort to destroy the Prydwen from within. In the end, if any of these paths are chosen, the Prydwen will go down in a blaze and crash into the airport, where its wreck can be visited. The corpses of dead Brotherhood of Steel members will spawn, which can be looted. These spawns will occasionally reset. If Liberty Prime is functional at the time of the airship's destruction, it will stomp around and patrol what remains of the airbase.